Hi, friends. Welcome back. This is the Tommy Chain Podcast, episode number 2. And with that, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad to be with you here. Welcome aboard. So we're going to talk about travel because that's what we're here for: points and travel, adventures and travel, all of the above, and travel because travel's not just fun to talk about, but it's a very good thing on almost every level. So a good topic for conversation this evening. If you're listening in the evening, then a very pleasant good evening to you, or wherever you're listening from. Good morning, good afternoon, good day. It's great to be together. So we've got a great show ahead of us today. And if you're just joining, thank you for joining me here. I'm really excited to be with you on the podcast well, that we're in right now together. So welcome. Okay, what's on the show tonight? First, some news. JSX, they've got a loyalty program. And the email from TommyOvenChain.com, it's got a new format. I want to talk about it briefly, but I want to talk about it. And then I want to talk about the 3 things I look for that really get me excited in a great business class product and why it matters for you. So that's what we've got ahead of us. And with that, let's get going. It's going to be a good one. And then we're going to get off the air and get you on to wherever you're going, which I hope it's a great trip. And if it's not, I hope you're planning a great trip. And if you need help, shoot me an email because I want to see you out there. All right, let's get into it. So, news. What do we have first? JSX, the Wonder from Dallas. That really is, like, on balance, the best commercial aviation product that is available in America today. Is that true? It's close to true. There are a couple other kind of niche operators that for sure have better products, but when it comes to a scheduled commercial operation, JSX probably kind of checks the broadest box. Like I'm thinking of Aero, they're awesome, but to my understanding, they're flying leisure markets on an infrequent, non-daily basis. Like you're not going to work on Aero. So I think that while we could say there are other better products out there, you're stepping very much into like private aviation world. So let me just leave it at that. JSX, super quality product. Are there things that can be better? Yes. Are there reasons to ask questions as to why they do what they do? Sure. Am I qualified to make that commentary? It doesn't matter. For our purposes here, why should you care about JSX? Because they really do have a great airline product. And if I'm one to recommend it, I totally would. So JSX, great product, very excellent in the States. What makes it great is they've effectively removed the airport experience from the airline experience. And then they've got what is fundamentally like a, kind of glammed up regional jet experience to boot. Does that make sense? So JSX, they operate from what are their own terminals that are hangars, apart from the main terminal. They operate kind of in a carve out of the Part 135 operation that allows them to, kind of as the FAA rules guide, effectively skip TSA screening in a like centralized screening checkpoint function for their flights. And instead they just have private screening that still is compliant. And while there's been, a lot of shade thrown at them, it's a very like shade thrown at them by bigger carriers saying that it's a question mark as to their safety practices. We can look at the TSA stats and at the very least reasonably conclude that it's not unsafe to fly JSX, to put it very, very mildly. So JSX, they operate out of their own terminals. They have private, more limited security, and you functionally skip the airport, fly on JSX, which means you can arrive like 10 minutes before your flight, and you really shouldn't arrive too much before that because their waiting areas are fairly austere at best. And so that being said, JSX's product, it's cool and it's innovative in the sense that it's sleek and it intersects kind of that, private commercial flying experience to a point. It's still very much a commercial flight. You're still sharing the airplane with other people. You're still flying on their schedule, etc. And then you get on the plane, and their jets are a little bit nicer on the inside. They only have 30 seats because they only can to qualify for the exemption that the FAA allows, that allows them to skip, the big security checkpoints that are operated by the TSA, so to say. So with that, their airplanes are just a little more comfortable because there's a little more space on them. And then their in-flight product is elevated. It's not, I would say, first class by any measure, but it's very much like a elevated product to kind of, a target to the Walmarts that quickly can be mainline U.S. airlines today. That's a little pejorative. probably on both sides. JSX is better than Target, and most US carriers are better than Walmart, if you will. And Walmart's great. Who am I to be harsh to them? Just trying to make a point. I'm not doing the best job of it. Thanks for bearing with me. The reality is, though, that JSX does have a great airline product, and it's unique and it's innovative insofar as their, like core flying experience is concerned, though you're still getting on what is in the end a regional jet that, I can't stand up in all the way to go somewhere. And that's neat. Okay, thanks. So JSX, they've been around for a number of years now. They have kind of a neat story to them. The fact they're still in operation is a great testament to their CEO, Alex Wilcox. Way to go. And I totally am a fan. And with that, they've launched a loyalty program, and they have not had one to this point. So it felt like a real, wow, JSX, this could be big. And I don't know what I was expecting exactly. I could pontificate, but what they've rolled out is kind of unremarkable at best. It's effectively a rebate program, which goes against most of the, I would say, behavioral science behind why you would implement a loyalty program in the first place. A loyalty program is a great way to recognize and reward, and I would gently suggest they're doing neither. They're not really making much effort at recognition of their frequent flyers. Maybe that's in the cards and it's not there yet, but at the very least it's not there yet. And then from a reward standpoint, they're not giving you meaningful or aspirational incentive to travel on JSX. It's just a rebate program. And if you're going to build a loyalty program, hear me loud and clear here, because I have a level of experience in this field. Don't do this, because you're just going to waste your time spending money on something that's not actually recognizing or rewarding, which isn't actually going to bring people back in any type of frequency compressed form to be worth the effort it takes to deploy the loyalty program on your P&L. I hope they change it and it gets smarter, but right now it is a rebate program and it allows points pooling. That's kind of cool. And there's maybe some level of kind of, if I remember, added incentive, on your birthday rewards and stuff that's pretty straightforward, kind of automation driven campaigning, which is fine. But for an airline that's trying to really differentiate themselves and be, innovative, and in that is going to survive off of that approach, because they know they both need to be known and then need to retain actively, I don't give this program high marks. And that's not I'm scrutinizing them for sure, but it's not so much to be hard on them as much to say, as JSX, you've got so much opportunity, and this loyalty program completely just under-delivered. And they even had kind of a quip, hey, don't get lost in, all the points or something like that. They made kind of some kind of threw shade at him, having a points-based program. And yeah, they just don't understand loyalty is what I would gently say to that. And I would invite them to change and make a lot more money in doing so and build a much more loyal customer base out of that. And they already have one. That doesn't mean that it's at its peak or it cannot get better. That just is not accurate thinking, plainly, as it pertains to loyalty. So I'm being a little harsh. Probably shouldn't start the show on such a negative front. So JSX, if you're listening to this, I think you're awesome. And I think you have all the potential in the world to really drill out a loyalty program that actually gets people excited to come back and to bring their friends and to fly JSX more than they already were. And then to be able to reward and experience that recognition that then transitions into rewards using inventory you're not already selling, coupled with opportunities for redemption that are, again, aspirational and exciting and engaging to get people in the program. And then you can get as big as Marriott Bonvoy and kind of put it all out to pasture. But until then, if you're going to put a loyalty program on the market, make it good. And I would say that while it's news they've got one, that's why it's fitting in this segment, it's not good. So I hope that changes soon, JSX, because I believe in you and I'm rooting for you. And that's, what I've got to say about that. So I'll leave it there, but there's news for you. If you fly JSX with the frequency, I wouldn't earn a rebate, but you also can get my commentary because you're listening to my podcast to know that I think this could be a whole lot better, and I want it to be. Okay, thanks. That's news number one today. News number two, a little more personal. We've got a sharpened format for the email newsletter, which why wouldn't I be excited about it? I write this thing every day with gratitude for you, my friends and listeners and travel adventurers out there. So we're honing it in a little bit. The goal is very much to keep this on a daily cadence with a daily newsletter that starts with travel commentary that's either going to be a review or report on a product that I've recently gotten to try, with an insight or a deal that's happening in travel currently that's worth sharing because it's that good or that awesome or just that interesting. Like yesterday we talked about Delta's use of AI, with their revenue management platform that is going to, per their most recent earnings call, by the end of the year, be pricing 20% of domestic US tickets, which is totally like welcome to the future. And in the same token, I wonder if they could be doing more that would drive more value using AI. I sure hope that's in the works. Anyways, yeah, so we're going to keep the top section very much focused, the real body of the daily email, very much focused on travel adventures, insights in the world of travel and points, deals in the world of travel and points, reviews and reports in the world of travel and points. Count on that. And then we're just breaking it down to go even deeper there with links from across the interwebs on news and deals that have happened through the last kind of interval between the most recent email and the one that came before it. It's typically about a 24-hour period. So I realized that I really like aggregating and having kind of a reference point for what's happening in the world of points and travel and what are the deals that have just broken in the near term. So the goal is to cover that so that you've got a single place to look, so that you can travel more frequently. There is more to come, because where I want this to go is not just to be a source of information, but to help you go more often out and travel the world and travel well. So that's what we're working on. And it's great to be on that journey with you. Thanks though. So new format, slightly honed in for the daily email, which is also posted on TommyObenchain.com. You can also find it by going to obenair.com. How neat is that? A little easier to spell, OBENAIR.com, or my name, TommyObenchain.com. But either way, find the email, or rather find the posts, which you can receive as an email by subscribing. And if you've already subscribed, thank you so much. And to y'all who read it with such frequency, thank you for reading it with such frequency. It means the world to me. And your encouragement means a lot too. So thank you for that. Okay, cool. So that's second point of news. You can see that in all the emails from this last week, and more to come like today with that same format, but we're honing it in with the goal of getting it better. So thanks for being on the journey with me. And if there's anything you think, hey, I want to see more of this in that daily email, please let me know, because I want it to be useful for you. That's literally why I'm doing it. That, and because I think it's really fun. So those two reasons. But thanks for being a part of the fun with me. Dr. Seuss says it's fun to have fun. You have to know how. This is fun. Okay, so with the this is fun, I was thinking about this week's podcast, and I was struck by how first I really wanted to talk about JSX and their missed opportunity, or at the very least under-leveraged opportunity with the rollout of this most recent loyalty program. And I have a lot more to say there, but I'll save it. And in that, was also struck by how I wanted to talk about something maybe a little more useful to you, or at the very least stands to be kind of entertaining, which is business class and the three things that get me really excited in business class, what I look for and what I think you should look for if you're spending money or redeeming points to go out and fly business class over an ocean, because there's a lot of things that call themselves business class out there. And then there's the products that really deliver, and the ones that I want to go back to again and again. So let's talk about it, because there's some commonality that at the very least is easy to trend against and go, good, let's get more of that and go find it. And no one holds a crown, in my opinion. There's a lot of them out there, crowns and good products. So let's talk about the good products real quick tonight. What do we look for when I'm looking for business class? What do I want you to look for to really go out and enjoy it? Number one, and this is a big one, pre-flight. Okay, what do I mean by pre-flight? I mean the lounge. So best business class in the world is going to have a lounge experience where the kind of actual essence of the in-flight experience starts on the ground. There are a lot of lounges in the world out there. What I mean is a proper, like, this is our business class, like true kind of elevated lounge experience that is for over ocean business class passengers. And there's a restaurant inside, or there's any other kind of number of things that make our lounge special. But let's just go table stakes. There's a restaurant inside. So like the Delta One Lounge, in Los Angeles, or at JFK, United's Polaris Lounges, Virgin's Clubhouse. You got a lot of different examples. I can go on and on and on. But a great business class lounge has got a great restaurant inside, and you can go and enjoy a meal there before a flight. And in doing so, you have more time on the flight to have a second meal, to sleep, to watch a movie, whatever you want to do. But that pre-flight dining component to me is a like table stakes element of a great business class product. And what you find, actually, you start to kind of weed it out, is that is more exception than norm. And I don't mean, again, like there's a buffet that you kind of can go and graze on. That's great. Nothing wrong with that. But I mean, like, there's like, table service restaurant. So I'm thinking like Air Canada, their signature suite product, so cool, great business class lounge. United, their Polaris product, first to roll it out, great pre-flight dining component to those Polaris lounges. They do get really crowded at their hubs, so there's that. But credit where it's due, they're working on it. Same thing with the Delta One lounges. I'm talking about U.S. carriers, which like what on earth? I think about Qatar Airways. They've got great pre-flight dining in Doha. The list goes on. Pre-flight dining. I probably should do a post on a comprehensive list. So just let's just leave it here though. Like if there is a lounge that has table service pre-flight dining, that is going to be the like mark of a start of a truly solid business class product. If you don't have that on either end of the experience, I would say that you're missing something in the mix. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, then you get on board the airplane, and I think there's some table stakes. Like the seat needs to turn into a bed because in the end, the true like essence of a business class product is is a place to sleep on an airplane that you can get legitimately good sleep. So we're going to take that as table stakes, just like we take, the platform of a airline that's going to deliver a timely flight that is both safe and enjoyable. As like again, we're talking table stakes here. But when we speak into what really makes the product quality, as you step out of that really excellent pre-flight experience, then where I'm going to say it needs to go next is into just a like meticulously well-maintained and aesthetically pleasing onboard experience. So like Air France, their new business class product, it just kind of sparkles on the ground. Qatar Airways and their Q suites, they've taken real care, largely in my experience, which is not ubiquitous, of that product. So you get on a Q suite, which is their kind of flagship business class product that everyone on YouTube has a review of, and the seat still sparkles even like a couple of years in, because they're just replacing component parts continuously. When you get on a business class seat and it's everything from like dirty to scuffed up to like just clearly not cared for, that's just not fun, right? So if I'm going to spend the same money to choose one or the other, I'd rather choose the one that's like, oh yeah, this is sparkling. This is such a beautiful product because it's being really well cared for, and they're noticing the details, not just in the finish out, but then in the care and maintenance on the product. And you see that in kind of best in class world. Singapore Airlines, real detailed about that. So is Qantas, so is Cathay Pacific. Many are not. Okay, so that's point number two. And then point number three is going to kind of intersect the two. Again, I would say that where I go for point number three, and this gets real subjective. This all is subjective, but this gets really subjective as it pertains to business classes. Is I would say bedding is actually point number three. So when a product is going to deliver a bed that is like made for you, and there's pajamas, and you can sleep well and very comfortably because of the way the seat is not just like turns mechanically into a bed, but actually then is able to be kind of spruced up into a bed you actually want to climb into. That's where it's at. And that is, again, trending more into exception, not norm. Hilariously, most would say the best bedding in the world right now in business class is actually on United, and they've just got like a bunch of blankets in Polaris, which is really cool. So props to United. They are not the Lone Ranger out there by any measure, but they do have a really good onboard bedding program that you look at. Like Air France is reintroducing mattress pads because it just these soft points matter. And so that's again where you step onto this like kind of playing field that is, well, business class is the ability to sleep, and then you go, okay, well how do we enhance it to a spot that it's really memorable, that's going to keep people not just coming back but choosing A over B, choosing Air France over Swiss or kind of whatever there. Betting's going to quickly come into the fold in that place. So I'm going to really give those my three for the sake of this episode today. Pre-flight, not just lounge, but like restaurant quality dining in the lounge on the ground before you get on the plane. That's number one. Number two, a product that is just totally meticulous, well-maintained, kind of sparkles when you get on board, not just because it's brand new or aesthetically pleasing, because it's been really well cared for. And then number three, bedding that makes it really not just possible to fall asleep, but delightful to fall asleep. Those three elements to me, that is what we're looking for when we talk about how and why it's worth it to fly business class. Honorable mentions in this for sure. Like you want to have a great food and beverage program, and most do, or at least try in that effect. And airplane food, in my opinion, can only get so good. And then you have exceptions to that rule, to be sure. And that there's a level of subjectivity to that, but I'd say onboard food and beverage, that doesn't just mean you have this like massive bar either. Like Saudi Arabian Airlines, they've got an incredible, in my experience, really solid food and beverage program, and they're a dry airline, but they have all these like fun, different options that are again really varied insofar as like smoothies and coffees, and it's awesome. It's awesome. So there's a lot of ways to cut that, but food and beverage program totally matters. Some are better than others. Most make a great effort of it, which is totally fun. So there's that. And then for sure, direct aisle access. That matters to me. That matters more if you're traveling, solo than with with your spouse and or with someone else insofar as your travel experience is concerned. But yeah, direct aisle access is kind of a again closer to table stakes, but not if you're Lufthansa. So and also what's interesting, you step into like the world of this is just kind of sidebar, private, not private, but like luxury, what like luxury tour flying. I'm thinking like the Four Seasons private jet. So I just said private. Abercrombie and Kent does the same thing. Lots of folks, Pan Am, they've just put the Pan Am brand on some private tour companies. A kind of more recent like marketing launch for a tour they're marketing and selling. Anyways, that's like packages where a plane is chartered out and flown around, and all that is done, on a 2x2 basis insofar as like this airplane configuration is concerned. But that's because most folks are traveling not alone. Whereas, when you look at just kind of the traveler mix in a international business class cabin, it's usually a lot of people traveling solo, and then you have for sure folks who are traveling together. So that solo or direct aisle access seat component, totally, it's a big deal. And it's an honorable mention, it's kind of table stakes too, but again, yeah, not if you're Lufthansa, so or others. No one else is like springing to mind right now, but they're out there, and it's good. It's good to think about. It's fun to talk about. Why do I care? Really, just because business class is fun. If you've not flown business class, I recommend it. I had my first time flying business class was in 2000. I don't remember, a while ago. And it was pretty fun. It was on American on an old 767, which at the time like had big recliner seats in business class. It was before they'd reconfigured them with angled lie flat seats, and it was still like blow your mind awesome. And where I'm going in that commentary is that it's an elevated way to fly that, especially when it can be found on a great fare or a great use of points, really does take the remarkable experience that it is to soar into the sky in a pressurized metal tube and yeah, extend it further into a really like memorable experience, which to me is totally worth it. Others not, and that's okay. I'm not here to tell you that it's the only way to fly. I'm just telling you that it's a great way to fly, and I think everyone can fly business class. Not everyone does, and that's because it's about knowing how to do so at a price point or price per redemption point that is reasonable, that's possible. So with that, I'll leave it there for this evening's show. Thanks for watching. This is episode number 2 of the Tommy Obenchain podcast in the books. If you haven't subscribed yet to the newsletter, go to TommyObenchain.com, or like I said, you can backdoor at obenair.com. We have that domain name too. Subscribe for the email newsletter. You'll get a daily travel and points email from me. It's also posted on the website, so you can read it there. Share it with your friends. We're not here to talk to ourselves. I'm not here to talk to myself. I'm here to keep flying with you. So get out there, fly well. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode. I'm Tommy Obenchain. Thanks for listening.